HarperCollins presents The State We're In by Adele Parks, read by Ioanna Kimbook and Michael Fox.
They say opposites attract, and The State We're In is a story about exactly that. Two strangers meet on a plane journey to Chicago. Jo is a desperate romantic who has had her heart and confidence crushed far too often. She's convinced that her only chance of happiness is to fly to Chicago and break up her ex-fiancé's wedding to another woman in order to win him back. Dean is an angry cynic. His background of neglect and disappointments mean he'll never believe that love is for keeps. He's returning home after visiting his estranged father who is dying in a London hospital. They are not suited, and yet they are irresistibly drawn to one another. I ought to add that although I've described Dean as an angry cynic, he is by far my favourite character and possibly my all-time favourite male character that I've ever penned. He is to die for. I hope all my readers fall a little bit in love with Dean. I certainly did. Indeed, this book is a great, big, fat, proper love story. People assume that commercial women's fiction is only ever about boy meets girl, but here's some news. I've never written a novel about a single man meeting a single woman before this, my 13th book. I thought it was time. However, this isn't an easy boy meets girl romance. It's a family drama played out over 2 generations. I look at some big issues about falling in love, living with deception, the value of family, and the sacrifices a woman might make for the sake of her children. It's got some really meaty twists and turns in there. I'm pretty obsessed with how personal histories and childhood experiences shape individuals. I wanted to write about how important our parents and backgrounds are in creating who we become, and what a huge responsibility that is. Whether we wish to imitate our parents and accept their morals and philosophies, or whether we wholeheartedly reject them, they are still the foundation. That was my starting point. Obviously, I can't tell you much about the middle. You are about to hear it for yourself, but I can tell you something about the ending. I'm often asked whether I know the ending while I'm writing, and the answer is yes. I decide that before I start writing, as I'm a very structured planner. I like every word to count and to work hard, and I find that happens if I know where I'm heading. I try to make my endings unexpected, but also, when the reader finishes the novel and thinks back, I want them to say, "Oh yes, of course, that makes sense." That will only happen if the planning is meticulous. We ought to have a word about the ending because once you get to the end of this novel, I'm going to ask you to keep it a secret, whilst, hopefully, robustly urging everyone to read this novel. I'll promise you'll understand when you get there. Okay, I won't keep you any longer. Enjoy!
Prologue. So you know all about love, do you? I know enough. Well, I know nothing. I don't know anything about aliens or ghosts or any other empty phenomena either. She laughed as though she thought he was joking. The laugh flew out into their history. It was a strong, heartfelt laugh, bigger than her. He wriggled in his seat, uncomfortable that he found himself intrigued by her nonsense. "Why wouldn't you believe in love?" she asked, unable to hide her incredulity. "Oh, the usual. I think it brings nothing but pain," he said, putting a well-practiced, neatly deflective hound dog expression. He mocked himself so that she wouldn't guess how serious he was. "Hating isn't exactly a bag of laughs either, though, is it?" she pointed out. "I've never met a happy cynic or a miserable optimist come to that, so obviously being an optimist is the way to go. Open and shut case." She beamed, content in her own reasoning, and he slowly moved his head from side to side, bemused, amused, interested. 1976.
1. Eddie. Sample complete. Ready to continue?